historical fashion friends, and welcome back to another episode. My cat just barged in. Hello, my historical fashion friends, and welcome back to another episode. Today, I'm going to be taking you on a journey through the process of making my outfit for this year's Foundations Revealed competition. But first, we are going to have our first ever visit from Sponsorship Kitties! That's right, we got our first sponsorship on the channel, and I am so excited for this sponsorship to be with a company that I love and have had on the channel before, A Thrifty Notion. If you remember my video from Costume Symposium, I had A Thrifty Notion on the channel to talk about their company, and they are a sustainable place to shop for your fabric supplies, because if you're like me, you don't want your hobby to contribute to more of the trash and landfill situation on this planet, which is already pretty out of control. And I really like that I can go online and take a look and see what the fiber content is, the yardage, and they have a really huge selection of destashed or fabrics that are from, let's say, a warehouse closes down and they're not going to sell them anymore. Instead of them going to landfill, A Thrifty Notion can sell them back to us, intrepid costumers. And they were so kind as to provide the fabrics for this costume that I am making this year. My costume is going to be inspired by the landscape of Iceland, but also inspired by Tudor fashions. So it's kind of a Tudor Iceland queen fantasy situation. So if you are voting on this year's Foundations Revealed competitions, be sure to check out my entry, and I am really excited to show you the journey through my process, which had some twists and turns. Now let's go to Past Me for an unboxing of the fabric. Okay, so I ordered a ton of fabrics for this. My costume has a lot of layers. So here it is, and I am going to open this and hopefully not spill it everywhere. Here I go, already. Let me put everything down and I will show you one by one. Okay, so first up, for the first layer, I wanted to get something sheer to make a type of chemise with. So this is just a red chiffon that I got. So pretty. And I try to get like basically exactly the amount I would need for the projects, so I don't waste a lot of fabric on something that's for a competition, because that was another reason I was really excited to work with them for this, is because this is kind of a unique costume and not necessarily something I would wear for really events or reenactment, and I definitely didn't want to buy fabric firsthand for my project. For the skirt layers, I'm going to be doing these various layers of kind of, you know, multicolor or ombre fabrics. So my costume is an interpretation of the landscape of Iceland, kind of done in an Elizabethan style, because that's the time period I am working up to. So this is just a shiny, shimmery fabric to be the water, which is going to be kind of the petticoat type of layer underneath. And then I got these three different layers of, there's two chiffons and a tulle, which are basically going to be like waves of the ocean, which are going to be cut into smaller pieces and ruffled up on the petticoat, which I think is going to look super pretty. Then for the second layer of skirts, I have this, which is really cool. So basically, this is supposed to represent like the black sand beach and the lava kind of pouring into the ocean, and that's why I have like a red underlayer for my chemise or my smock, because I wanted to kind of represent the lava flowing under the surface. So we have this, which is like a taffeta. And then we have another taffeta to be another layer of like sand and rocks going into the ocean. So this one will basically like go on top, and they look kind of similar on camera, but they're actually not at all. This one's kind of more like a purpley brown into a red. And then this one is more of like a greenish into brown into orange. Then I also got this fusible interfacing to use for my top, which is like going to be like the top of a curdle. And then I got this kind of crepe fabric to be my curdle top. So this is going to be like the black sand and kind of like the mountains and everything. And I got this tape for any bindings I need for that curdle top. I got this red drawstring for the high neckline around the chemise. And then I just got a little bit of pearl. And then I got this, which is an organza, which is going to be for this icicle crown, like a Tudor hood I'm going to have, that's going to have like a veil and then this icicle crown. So it's going to be like the waterfalls and the veil and yeah. Oh yeah. Some of my like chiffons and stuff are going to be for the ruffles, and some of it I'm going to use for the waterfall veil. Okay, so now I'm going to try to fit all of my fabrics inside of my storage, which is dwindling until I am able to get to work on this, which will be a little bit of time for me, but like 10 seconds for you. So I tried ripping this fabric along the grain line to see if I could cut it really easily across, but I should have known that this fabric would not do that nicely, and now I have a giant rip, so hopefully I can hide that inside of a pleat. This is just for the petticoat, so at least I know not to do this in the future. Okay, so we have our first layer pinned up here with the petticoat, and this is going to have like tulle on the bottom. So let me see, like this in a couple of different layers. And then also I might do like a second layer that has all of the ruffles, or I might put it just on here. Like I might do, basically it's gonna have tulle, and then it's going to have another layer of this, which is gonna have all of the little ruffly chiffons on it. These are my chiffon. So I had another one of these. Anyway, yeah, it's gonna have my chiffons, and it's going to be my water layer. Yeah. And there's gonna be basically 2 skirts on over this. Okay, everyone. So I have completed all of the cartridge pleating on this skirt, which is going to go over this skirt, and I have to now finish sewing on all of the layers of the water decoration for this. Ignore my pile of paint swatches. And then I just have to finish sewing a waistband onto this. So I'm gonna try to do that today, and then for tomorrow is making and sewing on all of these ruffles. Ignore my laundry. Okay, so I put the skirt on the dress form and kind of seeing how I want to lift it up here because the water part is going to peek out down below. And these are cartridge pleats. I had to use some fabric from, oops, there's a little pin stuck here. I had to use some fabric from the other set of fabrics that I have because I used all of this for the cartridge pleats. And this is like all gonna be covered by the bodice anyway, so I'm not gonna see all of these stitching lines. But it is my first time doing cartridge pleats, so yeah. We've got this and no, don't you get that? No, that's mine. No. Oops. Anyway, yeah, so I have to do more layers of the blues underneath, so just kind of wanted to see how it would be and kind of test out everything. And probably the next step is going to be making the chemise, so you can kind of see how that's gonna go and then do the bodice over that. And I guess clean up this room. It's such a mess, but I've just been doing project after project and have not cleaned anything up. Here I am just making my chemise with rectangular construction in a similar way that I made my medieval smocks, except that I am going to gather the fabric at the neckline and the ends of the sleeves to put into a collar and some cuffs. Okay, so one Mogi! I'm just kind of planning out how this is gonna work. I'm gonna gather like all of this. First I'm gonna sew like I think a seam here and then gather all of the rest of it to be inside of here, and then there's gonna be a string that ties it and open in the middle. Why are you crying? What, Mogi? What's the matter? Why are you crying? Baby boy. Hi. We have a single sleeve. And I just remembered that I should do a gusset, so hopefully I have enough fabric left over. We'll see. So I am just doing a little gathering stitch here on my sleeve. And then the gathered part is going to go inside of this cuff. And I have one which I have already finished here, so you can see that. And I've just hand stitched it all because number one, my machine is broken. Number two, I just prefer hand stitching, especially slippery fabrics, which I'm not really experienced with. And I think I might actually do another layer of stitching just to like enclose this puffy seam allowance. Then I'm going to put a gusset in and attach it to my finished bodice piece. Sorry for the super low light here, but it is nighttime. I'll try to put it as close to the lamp as possible. But I have this piece of straw from my bonnet that I made for my Regency outfit, and I thought instead of trying to get a bunch of buckram and spending money, I'm just going to use this for the inside of my French hood, and I will just kind of sew some millinery wire along the edge like I did with my bonnet, and I'm going to just kind of trim this to make it the right shape. But I was kind of racking my brain, what do I do about my French hood, and I remembered I had this perfect piece. So, time for me to snip. Oh, I'm making a mess. Okay, so now I am putting in my, what is this, neckband, I guess? And I've just gathered the back, and then I'm gonna gather the front. So first, I just left a little bit out for each side, and then for the middle of the front, I have done a filled seam. So it'll like tie in the front, and yeah, I'm just gonna do a regular little back stitch. Okay, we got the shirt going on here. And now I'm going to work on my pair of bodies, which is going to be actually attached to another skirt, which will have a train to go over this. So, here's my black fabric, and half of it's going to have some fusible interfacing to make it stiffer, and then also I'm going to put some boning in per the instructions. Now I already have a pretty good pattern for this, which was this pattern for the gray kirtle that I made, but I do need to adjust it a little bit because it should really be like another inch on each side here, and then where's my back piece? And then I also need like another inch on the back, and then it should be perfect. So yeah, going to just draw out a new one, and then I'm going to make the front point down a lot more. Okay, here are my new front and back pieces. So I'm going to cut the back on the fold, and I'm going to cut the front as two separate pieces, so they're going to meet in the middle, and I am going to cut them out of a black linen. Let me show you. So since I want to make another one of these out of this black linen for my Tudor Aurora cosplay, I am just going to do this tester on this because I should be able to adjust it anyway, even if it's a little too big, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so after holding this against my body, I felt like it was going to be a little too big in the front, so I just folded it over like maybe half an inch. So here's my black linen, and I am cutting out 2 of these for the front, and then I'll also have to cut some out that are going to end up being a little smaller to go inside. Actually, they won't be smaller because it's going to have a binding. Yeah, so I'm going to have to cut out another one of these for each of them, probably in a lining fabric. So yeah, just going to do that. So unfortunately the light in here is not amazing because if I turn on the good light, it makes the fan go absolutely insane. But this basically fits exactly how I would like it to. So the waist sits exactly at my waist, which is what I wanted. And then, yeah, I think it is going to be perfecto. So yeah, I'm gonna cut it out of my fashion fabric and put it together. Okay, I am doing like a fusible interfacing, and not gonna lie, I have never used this stuff before, but I think I'm doing it right, so I guess I'll just continue doing that and see. Feels pretty stiff. Yeah. So I am just sewing on my wire. I'm going to sew it all the way around the edge so it will be able to have a shape that holds up. And this is just wire I got at Michael's for like florist stuff, but it is strong, so I think it will work. And then I'm going to put on, I cut out this black fabric, whoa, and then I'm just gonna probably sew it. I might actually just glue this on because I'm kind of gluing all of the stuff onto this because I'm not going to need to take it off afterwards, and it's going to be quicker. And I also got some glittery glue sticks, which I will show you all later. Okay, so my wire is all on, and now I'm just going to attach my fabrics. Also, I'm going to use plain for attaching the fabric, but I got these sparkly glue sticks to use for attaching my beads, which are like icicles and glacier inspired and volcanic rock. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. Okay, so we have the shape done for this. I'm not concerned about the fact that it doesn't meet on here because it never meets on this non-squishable mannequin, but then it will actually meet on my body or pretty close to. I might make a stomacher. And now I'm just going to measure for my train so that I know how much trim I need to cut. But now it's starting to come together. And I have this. I'm just gonna add some more details too. I want to put some like sand on, so it's more like a beach. Yeah. Okay, so right now I am just going to baste my pleats down so I can stitch this on the inside of my bodice. So just gonna do some plain old basting stitches. We'll show you after. Okay, so I found this trim that I had and I really like how this looks. Like, I feel like this is kind of making the shape of the sort of like basalt columns that I wanted. It feels like I found it 20% only. Yeah, so I'm gonna do this trim here, and I really like how it looks, even though it makes it a little more Rococo looking and less Elizabethan, but I just really like it. So it's not supposed to be historically accurate anyway, it's just a fun historically inspired garment. And then I was thinking, it looks like, this is probably upside down. It looks like also really good here, so I might, when I finish putting like the sand on this, I might put this here. Yeah. Okay, so I finished putting on this decorative trim, and now I am just adding the binding for the edges, and then all I have to do left on this is put the eyelets. I wanted to do a lot more boning for this, but just the fact that my sewing machine is at the sewing machine hospital, it is just not possible. And I kind of have a straight shape anyway, so I'm not super worried about it. And then I'm going to attach this skirt to the bodice and add my trim. Hi! Hello! Hi! Whoa. Oh my god, I've been doing this skirt for ages, and it's like, I have done nothing. It's like, I've done like 5 inches maybe. Not even. That's the bottom. I've done like 2 inches, so I guess I have to space these ruffles out more because I have all of this to do today. But it does start to get like narrower, so maybe I should only do like literally this much, but we'll see. So here's some stock footage videos of Iceland while I describe what happened, which I forgot to record because I got really stressed about the time constraints. I used my hot glued and beads to make the crown and added some glitter for the black sand. And then I added some trim and attached the veil to the back. And then I dyed some of my leftover fabric from the skirts into a red color so that I could have more of a red lava tone to transition into from the blue ocean tones on the bottom of the ruffled petticoat. Oh my god, okay. The ruffles are done. I've had just about enough of them. Yeah, definitely tired of that, and looking forward to just taking the pictures tomorrow. There's my other layer there, just hanging out. Yeah. I guess I have to prepare my wig too. I definitely feel like next year I'm going to choose like to make just like one smaller thing and make it really well, because making all of these layers has just been, I think, too much. And I would have rather just made like one really good like shirt or corset. But yeah, we've done it. I don't know if I showed you the finished crown, but yeah, this goes in the back. So I'll just, I'm just going to show you the final thing. Yeah, let's go. This project was a crazy long journey, and I am really excited that I got it done because I was a little worried that I wouldn't with all of the complications that came up. If you like videos like this and you want to see more, be sure to subscribe, like, and be sure to leave a comment if you entered the Foundations Revealed competition yourself, because I definitely want to check out whatever any of your entries are and see all the awesome stuff you all are making. Thank you all for watching. I hope you like this video. Leave a like, a comment, and you can check me out on Instagram as well at gabrielle.westwood, and I hope to see you in the next video.